today onwards, let us discuss the geography questions of previous KAS question papers. So as of now, we have completed polity question paper discussion. Now we will start with the geography question paper discussion. So this is 2011 question paper of geography. So the first question here is, identify the correct pair of warm and cold ocean currents each respectively, which are indicated by an arrow with a code on the given world map. Okay, so here this world map, in this slide what we have done, we have given the names of the cold currents as well as warm currents, but in the question paper it was not like this. They had just shown the arrow marks. So in specific they had not mentioned any names of the warm ocean currents as well as the cold ocean currents. So for your reference, we have mentioned here in the slide. So that means you have to be thorough with the warm ocean currents and cold ocean currents that pass over the world oceans. Okay, it is available even in the NCERT geography textbook as well as the atlas. We have to go through that once. So here, given the options, we have to identify the correct pair of warm and cold ocean currents. So pair in the sense, we can rule out these two options. Okay. Okay, we can rule out these two options because they are single, they are not in pairs. So coming to ABCD and ADBC, here the arrow marks, the solid arrow mark here represents the warm current, whereas the dotted arrow mark represents the cold current. So here in the question paper it was A, D, B, C. Okay, in the original question paper without any names given, it was A, D, sorry B, here it was D and C. So now here the dotted line is the cold current. So the cold currents are B and C. Here we can see it is Oishio current, it passes through Japan, and here it is California current, it passes through North American coast. Okay, these are cold currents. Coming to warm currents, the Alaskan current, that is towards the Canada's Alaska, that is warm current, and the other one is, this is Kuroshio current, even this is warm current. So as here they have given the pair of warm and cold currents. Here warm currents are A and D, whereas the cold currents are B and C. So ADBC is the correct answer. So here they have given the names, so we are easily identifying that, but in question paper it was not given, the names were not given, only they had specified A, B, C and D. So just by seeing the map, you should identify the dotted one represents the cold current, whereas the arrow marks, dotted arrow marks represent the cold currents, whereas the plain arrow marks represents the warm currents. Next question. Indicate the correct sequence of igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic rocks based on the following statements. So here we have to see the option in the order: igneous first, then sedimentary and then metamorphic rocks. Okay, so given the options, some rocks are comparatively soft so that they yield powder or being scratched. Okay, as soft is the keyword here. So we should always know that any rock, if it is described as soft, that is sedimentary in nature. Example: limestone, chalk and tack, that is used to make powder, face powder, tack. Even it is a type of rock. Okay, it is very soft. So as the comparatively soft is here, right? So that is the keyword in order to describe sedimentary rocks. Now coming to this one, they do not contain rounded particles, but they are made up of crystals. So here crystals is the keyword. So this is the keyword for igneous rocks. Igneous rocks are those rocks which are formed by solidification of volcanic magma or lava. Volcanoes ಇಂದ ಬರುವಂಥ ಲಾವಾ ಆಚೆಗೆ ಬಂದು ಸಾಲಿಡಿಫೈ ಆಗಿ ಆಗುವಂಥ ರಾಕ್ಸೇ igneous rocks. Okay. Now more or less they remain in original position but get altered due to internal and external forces. In this option the key word is get altered due to internal and external forces, means this leads to metamorphism. Metamorphism is nothing but due to internal and external pressure the alterations happen in the rocks. So that is nothing but metamorphism. So that is metamorphic rocks. So the three different types of rocks: igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic rocks. So now option A, it is sedimentary, option B, it is igneous, and option C, it is metamorphic. But now we have to arrange it in igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic order. So the answer will be third option, that is B, A and C. This is igneous, this is sedimentary and this is metamorphic. So BAC is the correct answer. BAC. Here we have to identify the correct answer forms. Okay, the different weathering agents. Okay, that is those agents that cause erosion, weathering agents, and the landforms formed by these agents. Okay, here if we can see, just by seeing the options you can easily identify the alluvial terraces. Rivers form alluvial terraces. Alluvial terraces in the sense, these are alluvial terraces. Here the river flows. These are alluvial terraces, okay, across the sides of the river. So river forms alluvial terraces, but here in the option all three have got A as 5. Okay. Now wind causes Inselberg. Inselberg is like nothing but a mountainous structure, okay, as this ground, okay, because of the wind the loose particle around the rocks, they get eroded away and the hard rock remains as it is. Okay, this is nothing but Inselberg mountain. Okay. This is usually caused by, in windy areas it is caused by wind. Okay, so C goes for 1. So out of these three options here, C is 1 only, this option. Okay, so the answer here is B. Just by seeing the options we can eliminate the other options. Okay, so river gives alluvial terraces, wind gives Inselberg. Now B, glacier forms Combe Ridge. Okay, it will be like something like this. Okay, glaciers, Combe Ridge. Okay, next to underground water, it forms natural bridges, and the last one, sea waves, they form chasms. Okay, as you knew the river forms alluvial terraces and the wind forms Inselberg, you were able to identify which answer is correct. So this is nothing but elimination. Just by knowing one or two options you can easily eliminate the other options. Consider the following statements. Okay, here we have to identify, based on the statements we have to identify what type of soil is that we are talking about. This soil contains red residual deposit created from the weathering of rocks under humid tropical conditions. Humid tropical conditions means, humidity means the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere. Okay, so that is humid tropical conditions. That means rain will be more. Okay, It consists essentially of oxides of iron and aluminium and associated with plain surfaces of low relief. Okay, low relief means the elevation above the sea level will be very less. Okay, low relief, plain surfaces. Here the keyword is oxides of iron and aluminium. So as the soil contains red residual deposit, here we can see tropical black earths, Chernozem soils. These two will be eliminated because they are not red in color. Okay, so coming to these two, red soils and laterite soils. Okay, both the soils will be red in color and under humid tropical conditions. So here usually when compared to red soils, laterite soils will be more in humid tropical conditions. Okay, then the second option, it consists essentially of oxides of iron and aluminium. Coming to red soil, yes, it contains ferrous oxide, that is oxide of iron, but nowhere we know that it contains oxide of aluminium. Okay, so it consists essentially of oxides of iron and aluminium and associated with plain surfaces of low relief. So here the answer is laterite soils. Okay, but also we should know that usually laterite soils will also be present in hilly areas. For example, we can find laterite soils in coastal areas of Western Ghats. Okay, so even in hilly areas, not only of low relief, even high relief areas, we find laterite soils. Okay, but here as they have given oxides of iron and aluminium, rather than going for red soils, it is better to go for laterite soils. And also here it is related to humid tropical conditions, because red soils will be formed even in drier areas. It is not necessary that humidity should be more for red soils. Okay, it will be found even in the drier areas, but laterite soils, that is not the case. Okay, so based on these two keywords, the answer is laterite soils. Next question. In Africa, if one traverses from north to south between 20 to 30 east longitudes, the correct sequence of broad natural vegetation is. Okay, so here Africa, the continent Africa is special in the sense that it is the only continent through which all the three main latitudes, that is equator, Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, passes through. Okay, so through Africa continent, all the three latitudes, that is equator, Tropic of Capricorn and Tropic of Cancer, passes through. Okay, so if this is Africa, okay, equator, Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Near equator, the plant and animal diversity will be maximum. Okay, equatorial region, plus or minus 5%. Okay, here plus 5% and minus 5%. Near equator, the equatorial forests will come. Okay, so here now as we move further, we can here find the grasslands. Okay, so grasslands are nothing but the intermediate stage between the forests and the deserts. Okay, if we further go up, there we will find deserts. Okay, so forests. Okay, after forests, the vegetation starts getting reduced, then we will find grasslands. Then further the vegetation, as we move up, the vegetation get reduced and it leads to desert type. So in Africa we find Sahara desert. Okay, as here we travel from north to south, okay, like this, then Again here downstairs, what we will get? See here, just check the options. You should know that in middle comes the, that means near the equator comes the equatorial forests or the rainforests. Okay, so here the rainforests comes in the top, that is from north to south, so that is not possible, so eliminate it. Here, okay, if we see this savanna, desert type, rainforests, okay, usually this should come here and this should go here, okay, because next to rainforests there will be grasslands, so even this is eliminated. And coming to this type, rainforests, again desert type, savanna, that is wrong, rainforests, savanna, then desert type, okay, so even this option is wrong. So coming to the last one, rainforests in the middle, desert type, savanna, rainforest, that is desert type, savanna, rainforest, again savanna, again desert type, Mediterranean type. Okay, what is Mediterranean type? Mediterranean type is present, okay, it is a type of climate which brings winter rain. Okay, in Mediterranean climate or Mediterranean type of climate, the rain comes in winter. So this type of climate is present in all continents in the southwestern part except Antarctica. So except Antarctica continent, all other 6 continents have Mediterranean type of climate at the southwestern part of the continents. Okay, so Mediterranean type is the last type of climate. Yes, so this is our option. So rainforest comes in the middle. Starting from north, it is desert type, that is Sahara desert, savanna grasslands, rainforests. Again, if we go down, savanna grasslands, again Sahara desert, and the last one, southwestern part, consists of Mediterranean type of climate. So this is the correct answer. Okay, the lakes they have given and we have to match it with the countries. Okay, so it is very important to do the map reading, that is atlas reading, because from atlas more questions, even in UPSC as well as KPSC, the scope for atlas is increasing day by day, year by year. So you have to be thorough with the atlas reading. So here lakes and countries, if one can see the lakes, even though you need not know all the lakes, but anyway you will be knowing Lake Michigan, it comes in USA. Okay, so here E for 4, here E for 4, only you have 2 options, so just eliminate the other 2 options. Okay, now this Lake Onega is in Russia. Okay, so Lake Onega, B1, so B is 1, eliminated, so this will be the answer. Okay, just by knowing 2 lakes I identified the answer. Okay, so Lake Michigan, USA, Lake Onega, Russia, and the remaining one, Lake Turkana, that is in Kenya. It is also called Lake Rudolph, Lake Vänern, so it is in Sweden, and Lake Reindeer, it is in Canada. It is not necessary that you should know only these 2 lakes. You can know any other lake out of these 5 lakes. You can know any other lake. But what I knew is it is Lake Onega and Lake Michigan. Based on these 2 lakes, I identified the answer. Okay, so Lake Reindeer is in Canada. Okay, with reference to the physiography of India and Karnataka, consider the following statements. Indo-Gangetic plain has perennial rivers with an average elevation of higher than South India. average elevation in the sense compared to sea level, to what extent they are in height. Okay. West flowing rivers of Karnataka can be linked from their lower reaches of maximum flow to the east flowing rivers. Okay. So now, which of the following is correct? Indo-Gangetic plain has perennial rivers, perennial in the sense which flows throughout the year. Okay, so that is perennial rivers. So Indo-Gangetic plain rivers, yes, they are perennial rivers. So they are not dependent on the rainfall, just like South Indian rivers. They are dependent on the monsoon season. So Indo-Gangetic plain rivers are perennial rivers, fine, but with an average elevation of higher than South India. So this is doubtful, because Indo-Gangetic plain is a leveled plain, whereas the South Indian rivers, they have their origin, maximum of the rivers have their origin in Deccan Plateau. Okay. So as we know, while formation of the Indian subcontinent millions of years ago, the Deccan Plateau got elevated and it is in a very high position when compared to the remaining surrounding areas. Okay. So which all rivers rises in Deccan Plateau? They rise here and they come down like this. Okay. So Deccan Plateau is highly elevated land. Okay, but here Indo-Gangetic plain with an average elevation of higher than South India, no, it is not having average elevation higher than South India. Its elevation is lesser than that of South Indian rivers. Okay, so this option is false. Now, west flowing rivers of Karnataka can be linked from their lower reaches of maximum flow to the east flowing rivers. Okay, here we have the recent times we have the concept of interlinking of rivers. Okay, this interlinking of rivers, the plan is to link the perennial North Indian rivers with the monsoon dependent South Indian rivers. Okay, nowhere they have mentioned the connection or linking of west flowing rivers to the east flowing rivers. Okay, because it is highly not possible. The west flowing rivers of Karnataka like Netravati, Tungabhadra, okay, that have to be linked with the east flowing rivers, that is Krishna, Kaveri, Godavari. Okay, so that is not possible to link west flowing rivers with the east flowing rivers. Anyway, river linking project, it works fine with the north as well as south rivers. Okay, still it is in nasal stage, so even this option is wrong. So hence both A and B are false. Okay, here the ports. Okay, India has 13 major ports. Okay, now they have given the ports and the leading product exported from that particular port. Here we have to match them. Tuticorin, Mumbai, Goa, Mangalore, Cochin. Okay, as we are from Karnataka, we should be knowing Mangalore port is famous for granite export. Okay, if that is also difficult, we should know that Kerala state is known as king of or land of spices. Okay, Kerala is known as land of spices. So here the port from Kerala is Cochin. So Cochin goes to spices. Okay, so if E is 1, for our luck only one option is there. E is 1. Now Mangalore is granite and Mumbai, it is very famous for refined petroleum products, because the Mumbai High or Mumbai Delta, it is famous for petroleum refineries. Okay, so Mumbai goes for refined petroleum products. Next, Goa is famous as well as notorious for iron ore export, and Tuticorin goes for fertilizers. Okay, so here A, Tuticorin, fertilizers, Mumbai, that is refined petroleum products, Goa goes to iron ore, D, Mangalore goes to granite, and E, Cochin goes for spices. Okay, So B is the correct option. See, in geography textbook they have given in detail about the ports. Please go through what all ports famous for. Okay. Okay. The aurora borealis occurs in stratosphere, troposphere, ozonosphere and ionosphere. Okay. So what are these things? They are the different layers of atmosphere. Okay. So in our Earth's atmosphere, the different layers are there. This is troposphere, and next come the stratosphere where the ozone layer occurs. Next come the mesosphere, ionosphere and exosphere. Okay. This ozonosphere and stratosphere, they are one and the same because ozone occurs in stratosphere. Okay. Now troposphere and ionosphere. Now aurora borealis. What is aurora borealis? Okay. Auroras are nothing but they are the lights that appear in the Earth's atmosphere mainly due to interaction of electrically charged particles called ions and the atmospheric gases oxygen and nitrogen present in our atmosphere. Okay. So the ions or electrically charged particles, they interact with the atmospheric gases of oxygen and nitrogen in the atmosphere to give the colorful lights in the sky called the auroras. Okay. This aurora borealis occurs in northern hemisphere. Okay. Whereas aurora australis occurs in southern hemisphere. As here the ions interact with the atmospheric gases, we can easily tell the aurora borealis and aurora australis occur in the ionosphere. Okay. Now this aurora borealis and aurora australis, they occur in the north pole as well as the south pole, but not exactly at 90° north pole and 90° south pole. Usually they occur at polar latitudes of 66.5 degree north and south. Okay. So northern lights and southern lights, aurora borealis and aurora australis, they occur in polar latitudes of 66.5 degree. Okay. So and they occur in ionosphere where there is magnetic particles, charged ions. They interact with the oxygen and nitrogen of the atmosphere and form lights. The delta formed by river Ganga is an example of. Okay. So arcuate delta, estuarine delta, cuspate delta, bird's foot delta. Okay. See, river Ganga, it is very famous for forming arcuate delta. So delta is nothing but a place where a flowing water body go and joins a larger water body which is not so dynamic as that of the water body which is entering it. Okay. For example, the rivers, they can join bigger lakes just like Caspian Sea or seas and oceans. Okay. So they are stagnant water bodies when compared to rivers. Okay. So these fast flowing rivers, they come and join the little bit stagnant water bodies like lakes, seas and oceans. Okay. So this is called delta, the region formed by it. So these deltas will be usually highly fertile regions as water sediments carried by the rivers will be deposited in the mouth of the sea or the ocean. So they will be very fertile in nature. Okay. So river Ganga, it forms arcuate delta. That means the main river and its tributaries, okay, they form arc like this. Okay. It is a arc shaped structure. It joins Bay of Bengal. Okay. So this is arcuate delta. Estuarine delta, usually it is formed by the west flowing rivers. Okay. And cuspate delta, it will be like tooth shaped delta. Okay. For this, one example is, it is in Italy. In next class I will give example for this. It is in Italy, the river name. I will just give example for this. And the bird's foot delta. Okay, it will be in the shape of a bird's foot. Okay, the delta will be like this. Okay, so now the Ganga, the Ganges is nothing but it's an example for arcuate delta. Which of the following is or are correctly matched? Here they have given the tribe's name and the countries where they live. Eskimos. Okay, since our school days we have heard about Eskimos. They live in polar regions. Okay, so Canada is in polar region, ice capped region. So Eskimos live in Canada, correct. Now Oran, it is Norway. Laps, India. Goans, Africa. Okay, here which of the following is correct? So here you cannot eliminate it. You should be exactly knowing which tribes lives in which country. Okay, but coming to Oran, Oran is not a tribe. Okay, it is a city in Algeria. Oran is not at all a tribe name. It is a city in Algeria. Okay, so this option is wrong. Now coming to Laps, even Laps live in Siberian region, that is Russia. Okay, so Laps nowhere live in India, hence it is wrong. Goans, we all know Goans they live in central India, that is Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand. So Goans is not Africa, this is wrong. So here the only correct one is Eskimo, that is in Canada. So again I am telling you here, you cannot eliminate the options. You should know in particular which tribe lives in which country. Okay. Which of the following are believed to be older than Himalayas? Okay. Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra, Sutlej. Okay. So from the early Vedic as well as later Vedic age, we can say that all four rivers are older than Himalayas. Okay, so here the correct option is A, B, C and D. Okay, so these rivers, they had established their drainage networks well before the Himalayas came into existence. So all four are correct. It means all four are older than the Himalayas. Why is one likely to see a larger number of lunar eclipses from a given place on Earth than the solar eclipses? So we all know usually in a year we witness lunar eclipses more when compared to solar eclipses, be it partial solar eclipse or full solar eclipse. Okay, so why is that so? The number of lunar eclipses in a year is larger than the solar eclipses. All eclipses of moon are visible throughout the hemisphere, while solar eclipses not. Okay. Lunar eclipses are more published than solar eclipses. Lunar eclipses are always complete, while the solar eclipses are usually partial. Okay. See, solar eclipse happens when this is sun, the moon comes in between the earth and the sun. Okay, this is moon. Okay, to what extent moon covers the sun, to that extent we can say it is total solar eclipse or partial solar eclipse. Okay, here only that part of the earth facing the sun will witness the solar eclipse. Okay, because the path is very narrow, the shadow of the moon falling on the earth is very narrow because of the sun's rays. So because of this, only that particular region will witness the solar eclipse. Okay, coming to the lunar eclipse, in this case what happens? In lunar eclipse, this is moon, earth, sun. Okay, sun, sorry, this is earth and moon. Okay, the earth comes in between moon and sun. Okay, earth, the shadow of the earth falls on the moon. Okay, so the area, shadow covering the area, that is, it completely covers the moon. The shadow falling on the earth of the moon is larger. Okay, so we can witness the lunar eclipse anywhere on the earth, not only in certain region, as the shadow of the moon falls on a larger area when compared to the solar eclipse. Okay, so all eclipses of moon are visible throughout a hemisphere. Okay, throughout a hemisphere it can be visible, but solar eclipses are not, because the area is very less. Okay, so this is the correct option. That is, we can likely to see large number of lunar eclipses from a given place on the earth than the solar eclipses. Okay, it's not because they are more published, lunar eclipses are more published, not because they are always complete while the solar eclipses are usually partial. No, even solar eclipses can be full in total, and the number of lunar eclipses in a year is larger than the solar eclipses. No, as both earth is orbiting around the sun and moon is orbiting around the earth, nothing but moon is indirectly orbiting the sun as well. So the occurrences of lunar eclipses and the solar eclipses will be equal, or it will be usually same. But why we witness lunar eclipses more and solar eclipses less is, this is the reason: the area covered, the shadow falling is very less in the solar eclipse when compared to the lunar eclipse. So in lunar eclipses, whole hemisphere witnesses the eclipse, whereas in solar eclipse only a portion of the country. Even in our country, not all states can witness the solar eclipse if it is happening any time. Okay, so that is the reason. Agricultural Department of Karnataka has identified major agroclimatic regions in the state, and it is based on, means on what basis Agricultural Department has divided the state into different agroclimatic regions. Okay, in total there are 10 agroclimatic regions in Karnataka. Rainfall pattern, both amount and distribution, soil types and relief features. Relief in the sense, is it a plain land, is it a Malnad area, is it a hilly area, or is it a coastal plain? Okay, so that describes the relief features. Crops produced and marketing, what kind of crops are grown. Labor and transport facility. Okay, so if we think a little bit in a proper way, we can identify, of course, rain is very much important in order to define the agricultural and climatic patterns of any area. Soil types and relief features, yes. The crops produced, obviously the same crop is not produced in the entire state. Okay, different districts in our state produce different type of crops based on the rainfall pattern, temperature, humidity, as well as the soil and relief features. Okay, so crops produced and marketing will be taken into consideration, whereas labor and transport facility, if you observe all these features, labor and transport facility is not a primary factor to bifurcate any region into agroclimatic regions. Okay, because labor and transport facility, if infrastructure is available, we can develop it in any area. So this is not a deciding factor for agroclimatic regions. So here the option correct is A, B, C, A, B and C only, as this is not a primary factor. This is not considered by the Agricultural Department in order to bifurcate the agroclimatic regions. Okay. As one moves from the equator to the poles along a meridian, the result will be, okay, equator, poles. Okay, if one moves from equator towards poles, what will happen? The variety of plant and animals increases. The variety of plant and animal decreases. The temperature increases, the temperature decreases. Okay, so here we know equatorial region plus or minus 5 degree, the temperature will be very high, as the sun rays will be usually overhead or slant like this. Okay, Now sun rays to reach here is very less, because the intensity of the sunlight reaching the polar areas will be very less compared to that of equator and the tropic region. So here the temperature will be very high, and as one moves towards the poles, the temperature decreases. So the temperature decreases. Now the variety of plant and animals increases, variety of plant and animal decreases. We all know this is the highly productive region on earth, the equatorial region and the subtropical region. Okay, so as one moves towards the poles, the plant and animal diversity as well as even the humans, okay, this because this is completely polar regions, very few humans live. So as one moves towards the polar areas, the plant and animal diversity reduces. So the variety of plant and animals decreases. So the correct option is B and D only. So this one, B and D only. Okay, so this finishes the 2011 geography questions. So in next session we will be discussing 2014 question paper geography questions. Okay, thank you.